Cancer. Unbound. Releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. Unbound. And I like how it has the moon right there. Kind of like the judgment card mixed with like the star card. And I like how it's like they're floating in water, where the air and the water are kind of connected. They've got that sonar, and you're rewriting, you're rewiring the system so that your feelings, your your intellect, your intuition translates as smarts, know-how, and strategy. Okay, you got unbound and boundaries. Where do you need to establish better boundaries? Unbound and boundaries. Wow, I'm surprised. I'm surprised Pisces didn't get that. Unbound and boundaries. Oh my god, I have to read these. That's so funny. It's like saying, I know you are born away. Okay, unbound. Uh, Releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. It is time to release old soul stories that have been playing out in your life. They're coming up to be healed. Um, I hate this fucking camera. There you go. There has never been a safer time to clear these patterns than right now. See, Krabby, you can come out of your little Krabby shell, your little crab. You call it SpongeBob, second Krabby Patty. 'Cause I know you take care of home and hearth, and you're always worried about somebody coming into your land, stealing all your little Krabby Patties. Uh, Take a look at all the patterns in your life that you're so ready to release. All the old traditional vows and contracts that your soul made and that have already expired, way past their expiration date. It could be a vow of silence or chastity or poverty. It's not necessarily about having money or getting that house or the relationship. It's about too much of this, don't do that. It's about too much of this, don't do that. It's about too much of this, do that. uh, you need to unwind from them, or it's something that's just been overdone, and you know that it just needs a little bit of a break, if anything, to just give it some temperance or some balance. This is the life in which you free yourself from the trauma of the past lives. It's, karmic lives over and over and over and over again. So you probably got a hard pill to swallow, but it's a long time coming, and you probably the majority of your life for the first at least 30 years you've had to deal with a lot of bullshit. Be like, man, why am I getting shit on all the time? I feel like I'm in just a crab in the sand, and the waves keep on coming over and blowing down my freaking sandcastle. Hail to the nail. What old ways of being have an expiry date? When you name them, when you name them, you claim them, and they stop holding power over you. I would write it down too as cons or pros and cons, both of it. Thinking like a lawyer. When acknowledging these old patterns, it isn't. it is also important to acknowledge how they have served you up until now. So have you gotten your zhuzh? Have you been served? Have you been served and swerved on that? For example, a soul pattern of playing small. Wait. For example, a soul pattern of playing small caused by a soul fear of being seen. Oh, when you're trying to dim your light. Okay. Being seen or sharing your voice would have served you by keeping you safe. So it's better not to speak up or say anything because you don't want to get burnt at the stake for the Salem witch trials. That makes sense. Um, in order to grow, you now need to soften by receiving and calling in support. It is time to unbind from the old ways of being that are no longer sustainable, that they don't fit into the status quo uh, of the modern day regime, or not regime, the modern day way that things have evolved into. It's old ancestral patterns that no longer hold much currency or much value to them when we were raised for them to have the only value, and we have to figure out how to mitigate that into something that is conducive or productive or progressive in our lives and ultimately makes us whole by compromising a little bit but still gives us that little bit of independence and something that we're okay with. um, uh, their activation message follows: hold the card to your heart and say, I release all old soul stories, vows, contracts, and patterns that are no longer aligned with my life and who I came here to be in the present time. I carry the lessons, growth, and gifts, but I no longer choose to live in the same story. May I be unbound, unbound, forever motherfucking unbound. May I be unbound, unbound, forever unbound. Can I get an amen? Okay. And then the funny thing is, you got bound and unbound, or boundaries. So by being unbound, it's kind of like this: unbound means you're free to be the divine feminine again and be like, I'm that bitch. And then you're going to slap on some boundaries where you need to establish clear quadrants of how far, people can come in and invade your space. And, like one of my top pet peeves is when somebody texts me and they're like, hello, hello, whatever, and they'll send like question marks, or hello, I texted you yesterday. And I'm like, just because you have access to my phone text message doesn't mean that I have to answer that. And I wasn't not answering it because I was being a bitch, but it, what did you even need? You're like, hey, my toenails are dirty, or what? Like, just stupid shit anyway. Okay, so you've got the High Priestess and the Two of Cups. So, um, shit. Okay, Cancer. Yeah, that's you. So that's you riding solo. That's you riding with somebody else. Both the number two. Ooh, in your healing, the solution is just to heal, regardless if you're, married or single. You gotta get rid of that. And since it's in the reverse, still there. However, more healed than ever. What else do we got? Ooh, beach. Ooh, Ten of Swords. Damn. Damn, the universe has been serving it to everybody. They're just beating the shit out of them with the Judgment card. The dead will rise again. I guess no good goes punished, I think it's you surrendering and you're just like, okay, whatever is like, stick a fork in me, whatever you need to do, just do it because I know the judgment is coming and I won't have to endure it that much longer because whether I'm single or I'm with a new person, I'm doing everything. I'm offering I'm pulling a Jesus on you. You know what I mean? Because oh, yes. Because you paid the cost to be the boss. You know what this looks like is you earn your ducats to get. You went to the gambling hall. You earn your ducats. You stacked your chips. You stacked your paper, and then you got a ride. Ooh shit! You got a ride on the Titanic, and then the Titanic sank, and then you're unsinkable Molly Brown right here. Wow, my hair is looking frazzle dazzle. What do we got at the bottom of the deck? The Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. I want to read what that means because I'm not sure. Oh my god. Okay. Results are okay, and this is where you came from. This is not where you're at right now. Results are yielded and future decisions are required. Haggle, bargain, quarrel, clear conscience, ingenuity, financial anxiety, lending expectations. Ah, lowered expectations. Okay, so that's where you were coming from. And all of this stuff, all of these rewards, all of this roller coaster you've been on, is the results are yielded in future decisions are required. It's made you go from feeling like you've had to choose labels or love. Shopping for labels, shopping for love. And realizing that you don't have to settle for love or career or self respect or do you want a man? You know what I mean? Like you can have either or. You can have your cake and eat it too. I know it's a typical saying, but you can truly have it all, and you can do it on your own time. You don't have to make the decision. You don't have to sacrifice something because you're not quite sure yet. Because you're not sure. You're not sure. What do we got for the love messages? I feel like Monica with the love messages. Oh, Monica, shut. It's too many. Like 12,000 of them fell down. I love Monica with the love messages. She's like, Monica with the love messages. I don't know if you guys watch a lot of tarot. I do, obviously. Engagement. So I think you're going to go for you got engagement and pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. Okay. Okay, I think, okay, that's interesting. Let me get one more. Tell me, please clarify what this means. Wow, that's really. Give me one more. That'll make no damn sense. Okay. I mean, it says pay attention to the red flags. The signs are Pay attention to the red flags. The signs are cautioning you. Engagement. Your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. And then trust. The situation is calling for you to have faith. These two make sense. That is completely opposing. I think it's saying if you want a good marriage, if you want to be happy in this, you know it's a safe bet. But it's also employing you to just as well realize that, I mean, just from these pictures alone, this is like a geisha in Tokyo or China or something. And then these are some old British folk. It's Peaky Blinders or Downtown Abbey or whatever. Um, Two completely different worlds, two completely different realities. So I think when it says pay attention to the red flags, is that you're not going to be able to have your cake and eat it too. You're going to have to give up maybe certain friends or class stuff or ways of eating and communicating. Kind of like, I think the best way to describe that is just when Miley had to let go of that fine ass Liam Neeson. I mean, Liam Hemsworth. Because, but I give her props because shit, he was fine as fuck. But she had to stay true to herself. And you know she's down for it, bitch, if she's gonna give up that hot ass guy. Let's get your final message, Cancer. Cancerians, my beautiful Cancerians. Y'all's Hunter, track down your fears and motherfucking desires. Arrgh. So be like one of those mandible claw crab thingies. It's like, you know, seen those insect wars? Just be more abrasive. Don't be so cantery. Be more dudeish. Be more like patriarchal and just be like, so what's going on with this? And then this event, or we're gonna have to go see your family for Christmas. Do you want kids? Are you still hung up on your ex? Do you mind if I get hookers? You know what I mean? Like, you gotta make sure you ask them the really important questions. Okay, so we got Hunter, track down your desires, and then we got Earth Mother, feel loved and comforted. So those are two opposing things as well. I feel like this is the patriarchal father and the the matriarch. Um, if you decide to stay with yourself in your situation and do the single route, or realize that that's what you're vibing with, you're already there. If you decide to move, your love is ascending to a higher level of commitment. I think you should go for the relationship because it's saying to fight for that love, because you will be okay if you end up being an old spinster or just single, and maybe somebody else might come along or what have you. But this has the potential, and you'll be fine if it doesn't work out anyway. So I'd say go for it, because why throw away a potential if it could last forever? Make it last forever. Love you, Cancer. Oh, shit. Okay. And last but not least, we've got the Virgo at 2:38:05. Fuck.